Yo, you listen to More About Something Else. My name is Joshua, and just want to say thank you for listening to the show. But on this episode, we talk about depression. And I don't really like when people talk about millennials. I really don't like the slander. But besides that, hey, please go check out the book, Dominant Existence. You can get it on moreaboutsomethingelse.com, or you can get that on iBooks. And please check out the website. Don't forget to give us a review. But here's a clip from the show. But, you know, God blesses those that use their free will. I'm going to let you know that right now. So if you want to go out there, go get you a damn therapist, go get you a therapist. God didn't put therapists on the earth just to waste time, you know? And I feel like now that therapists are becoming mainstream, you know, we should utilize that. But hey, that's just to say, think about it. If you were in that position, what would you do, right? And now that you've heard that, let's begin.
First off, I'm going to have to ask you to go and rate this show, maybe even leave a comment. And you could do that on iTunes or SoundCloud, and for Android users, you can now listen via Google Play. Now, this podcast may contain explicit content, just saying, so open your mind, relax, and listen to this dope-ass podcast.
Food for thought, coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest to find more about something else. Hey, food for thought, coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest.
If people don't understand that, well, they don't understand nothing.
Truth spilling, leaving victims to my honest ways. I come in peaks like an alien from outer space. Internet pirates riding waves on your webpage. Download shit, click the link, press play. I don't mean to pray, but I pray every week for myself, for my fam, cause we all gotta eat. Protein, no more sweets. Till I'm caked up on the beach in Belize. Food for thought, coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest to find more about something else. Wait, food for thought, coming fresh, I'm the chef. I got greens for your brain, have a taste, it's the best. Food for thought from the flesh, tag along on the quest to find more about something else.
Yo, you listen to More About Something Else. My name is Joshua. And, you know, I just want to say thank you to everybody that's been rocking with this show since day one. Truly appreciate it. And I feel like today's going to be a great episode. Probably the greatest episode up to date. I think that's fair to say. But, yeah, man, we're here. A lot has gone on throughout this week. Like, literally a lot. From last Monday until now. Oh, my God. And it just shows and it proves how fast social media works. Not even social media, just life in general, because a lot went on. Like, just in the area when it comes to news and whatnot. And I think the questions now that we have to ask now are valid. Does this really matter in my life when it comes to mainstream media, right? Does it really matter to me? But here we are, you know, Meek Mill just got out of prison or jail or whatever. Wherever he was locked up, he was freed. And, you know, he didn't even go home. He went straight to the Sixers game. And I said, you know, once he get out, the Sixers going to ball out. And what did they do? They balled out. So here we are. Meek Mill is free. So kudos to that. North Korea, South Korea, they're joining and they signed a peace treaty. They're going to take away all the nuclear testings and they're just going to stop all the BS that they've been doing for a long time. Just imagine 68 years of war. Who does that? But here we are, you know, privileged to know that we're safe. North Korea have been talking about nuking us for the longest. And I think the question now arises, since it didn't happen in any other presidency but this one, is Trump really that good or what? I don't know. I read an article about Dennis Rodman, and he was talking about how he gave the leader in North Korea some books to try and understand Trump. Sooner or later, we realized that everything was good on our side. I really want to get into starting to read about what actually went on, like what's the beef between North Korea and South Korea and North Korea and the U.S. Like, I really want to know. But that's all good. You know, I don't want to say Donald Trump is a good president, but of course he's going to take the credit for all that. Here we are. And I mean, you know, it's a good thing. You know, there's times where we need peace. It's unnecessary for North Korea and South Korea to be fighting for what? In the NBA, we we realize a lot. And honestly, I hate talking to people that don't know nothing about basketball. It kind of bothers me because, I sit there and I listen to people talk, and I'm just like, bro, you really have no idea what you're talking about. And you're very subjective in your views when it comes to the sport. And I'm just saying this to say that it's okay to think outside the box. It's okay to be objective towards your favorite player. I am, but the Western Conference. It was kind of an embarrassment to see the first round on the Western Conference, just because every team rolled by each other team. Like Damian Lillard, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't like Damian Lillard. I just don't like him. I don't like him because 2014, there was seconds on the clock. He was playing the Houston Rockets and he hit a three, buzzer beater. Most memorable moment probably in his career. And I don't like that because that knocked the Houston Rockets from the playoffs. And I don't know, I just felt like it was a good team. Bad chemistry, but good team. I don't know. So ever since then, I hate Dame. And I feel like this is what they deserve. They got swept by Anthony Davis and the Pelicans. And honestly, judging from how looking at the type of play that the Pelicans play, that's a team on the rise. Klay Thompson really just said, I don't know, like I don't like playing against them because they're like a younger version of us. And just think about it. Alvin Gentry, the coach of the New Orleans Pelicans, was assistant coach to the Warriors. I think it was 2014, 2015, or 2015, 2016. I don't know, one of those. But he was an assistant coach, and he ended up getting his own team, the New Orleans Pelicans, and they're doing very well. But just think about it; it's a younger version of the Warriors. But that is all to say that the first round of the playoffs was it was a rollover. The only playoff team that had a lot of trouble, even getting to Game 7 was the Utah Jazz and OKC Thunder. And I'm sorry, I meant to say Game 6, but they got all the way to Game 6. Utah deserves this more than OKC. Now let me get this straight. OKC is only in the playoffs for God knows why. I don't know why they're in the playoffs, right? But they're in the playoffs, and the question arises like, okay, the big three, what are they going to do? Melo just comes out and says, there was no strategy for me being here. Of course. I'm going to let you know this right now, that you're only there, and Paul George, you're only there because KD said that the OKC Thunder do not know how to run an organization. Come on now. Like, this is the same player that KD had to escape. And the only reason why KD escaped him is because Russell doesn't make solid decisions, They coddled him. He's a baby. This is the same guy that ESPN raves over and says that, triple doubles are far more better than winning an MVP or getting to the finals or even the Western Conference Finals, But this is your beloved MVP that you love so much because of triple doubles. Triple doubles have not changed the game of basketball, so I don't know why we idolize that so much. You know what? I'm done with talking about that. Eastern Conference, Sixers, very cold. They're facing the Celtics. That should be interesting today. Toronto versus the Cavs. Now, let me remind you, don't get it twisted. Toronto is good, but I don't know. They just not. I just feel like they're going to get knocked out. And that is to say that I'm telling the truth. Toronto has proved time in and time out that they don't know how to handle it, and they're actually afraid of LeBron. So that should be interesting. So we'll see what happens with all that. It's very interesting playoffs. This is the best playoffs we've seen so far in a long time. But yeah, continue watching the NBA playoffs. Things that bother me this week. So Kanye goes on this Twitter rant. I don't know. I guess we can call it a Twitter rant, but he goes on it. He's talking. He says, "I love Trump, MAGA. Where's the MAGA hat?" And then even Chance the Rapper comes out and he says, black people don't have to vote for Democrats. I believe that. Like, it's true. It's like freedom of thought and freedom of opinion. And if you believe that you can be a Republican and be a black person, okay. But it's the amount of scrutiny that everybody got. Well, not everybody, but Chance the Rapper, Kanye. And this is my thing when it comes to social media, is that people react so fast that they don't know what's going on. And I figured something was wrong. And this is not to say that whatever he was talking about was okay. This is not to say that he's not entitled to his own opinion, but I'm also entitled to my own opinion to say, okay, enough is enough, right? So I knew he was trolling because Kanye came out with 2 songs right after, and it makes a lot of sense. So I'm only saying this to say, and I'm not mad at Kanye, I'm not mad at Chance the Rapper, I'm actually mad at people that actually react to these things because little old you trying to gain clout because you feel like, oh, this is a hot moment, let me just tweet something real quick. Let me groupthink. That's what they do is groupthink. To get people talking about the same thing, just get riled up. And you think Kanye cares that he lost 9.2 million followers? No, because when this album drops, y'all gonna be listening to it. Y'all gonna be bumping it like it's nothing, talking about I miss the old Kanye and this is the old Kanye. But that is to say, think for yourself. It's not that hard. You can form your own opinion. You don't have to react when it comes to social media. Another thing when it comes to social media, take your Cash App info out your bio. All right. It's the same women that say love yourself and that I don't need no man to take care of me. They got their Cash App information in their bio. And they say, don't talk to me unless you spend the money on me. And granted, empower yourself for who you are and whatever. But those two don't mix. Same thing when it comes to booking information. What am I booking you for? You don't do nothing. Like, let's get it straight that you won't have a career or a life without social media. The internet actually saved you from actually getting a 9 to 5. So let's just be real here. Take it out if you don't do nothing with your life. If you have no talent, if you're not an artist, if you're not an icon or whatever, then there's no need for your booking information. And that goes out to all you social media junkies. But that's what bothered me this week. So one thing that I was thinking about just very recently, it's just when it comes to troubles, right? And I'm be very transparent about my issues and my struggles and whatnot. And it's more of like when you get into a spot or when life takes an unexpected turn, what do you do? For those people that do plan their lives and plan their every move, week by week, day by day, what do you do when things make a shift or you decide to make a change? Not even you decide to make a change. It's like the world is working with you, but somehow it turned on you, not knowing that turn is actually the way you're supposed to go. Like, what do you do then? Like, how do you react? And I'm bringing this up because we all go through it. We really do. But how many of us actually know what to do in those type of situations? Life is about reaction, always about reaction. Cause and effect. Because this happened, this is what's going to happen after that. I feel like it's important when it comes down to situation. And this is something that I noticed about life. And I always question why we have so many poor people. I always question why people struggle so much. I question a lot of things about life. And I look at it and I just thought to myself, because I do want to bring a child into this world. It's like, how do you tell your kids that you will face adversity? How do you tell your kids that life is not fair? How do you tell your kids these social constructs? Like, it doesn't make any sense to try and give it all to your child, but you also want to hold some back because you want to keep their innocence, which is what you're supposed to do. But for how long? You see, when it comes to life, I feel like it's about perspective. Once you start to understand perspective and understand that perception has more than one dimension to it, it'll make a lot of sense. Like, it'll make a lot of sense in the case where I can do better with my life. And I feel like that's what happened because I started reading books, right? Don't know what happened in my life because I hate reading. But I just started reading stuff. And then my perception of what really goes on this earth changed. And then again, I ask questions, so that helps too. But once you understand that there's probably a bigger picture to this. And I hate to say that because I feel like that is used all the time to say, oh, well, yeah, since everything happens for a reason, this is why so-and-so died, or this is why I lost my job. It's not a good excuse, right? But it's good enough to say that there's always going to be a better outcome. But it depends on you at the end of the day. Like, if you still want to reach your goal, then you can still reach it. Like, nothing is really stopping you but yourself. And you know, the concept of heaven and hell is like we tend to bring ourselves down. We tend to bring ourselves up onto that level where hell is. Like you can be living in hell and not even know it. And that's the crazy thing about it. But think about it. What do you do whenever things get messed up? And I feel like once you figure that out and once you figure out how to actually work with whatever you're working with and make a change in your life, it's a great show. Say, man, if you really like the show, and I assume that you like it because you're still listening to the show, but if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And if you are subscribed, please, 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 write us a review. It helps people find the show, for one, and it also gives people an idea of what's going on in the show without actually listening. So, it attracts other people, and I'm just asking, if you don't want to, it's cool. If you do, God bless you. Now back to the show. Did you know that 40 million, that's right, I said it, 40 million people deal with depression each year? It's crazy, right? And, we don't talk about it as much anymore. We like to speak about mental health. We love to speak about mental illness. We love to speak about all those factors that play into it. But we never actually talk about depression or anxiety. And honestly, when it comes to anxiety, I've been kind of harsh about it because to have anxiety is to fear the unknown, right? But we should strive for the unknown. Just in our way of saying, hey, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I have faith. And then we have depression where it's like you're sad. And it's not even like, oh no, I'm sad. I want to kill myself. No, it's not like that. Depression is real. And I can speak from my own accounts and my own encounters with depression. And I feel like one person or every person has had some type of depressive thought or depression just in general. And I'm bringing it up because, back to what I said about what happens when you take, when life takes a turn, what do? And we don't ever talk about the downside to that because it's kind of dangerous when we think about it that so many people are depressed. And we never actually talk about getting over depression. And to say that 40 million people get depressed or are suffering from depression and suffering from anxiety, I don't know. It just seems like the issue's not being fixed. One of my biggest issues right now is self-diagnosing yourself, medication, or even self-medication. Like those three things, they bother me. I would like to say self-diagnosing is probably my biggest problem because a lot of people say that they're depressed based on what they read because they feel like they can fully give an analysis without being biased. I don't know. It just bothers me when people even come out and say, "Oh, you're depressed." Bro, you don't know me. And then when it comes to medication, we have all these doctors and say, "Oh, they're depressed. Oh, they have anxiety." Well, we had these antidepressants here that you can use. Like nobody wants that at all. Like medication shouldn't be the end all be all. Now, when we think about anxiety and depression, because they go hand in hand, it's like why aren't we thinking about application, especially when it comes to our lives and everything that we do and adversity that we face? Application. What am I going to do to fix this? And I think that's the question that you need to ask yourself when it comes to any type of situation. All right, so I'm in this whole little thing. What do I do? How do I fix it, right? So I was looking into it and it's pretty simple and it sounds simple, but it's actually taking those steps to do such a thing, right? So I was looking it up because I believe that there's a way and I believe that certain people have different ways, but these are just the ways that I believe in. So when it comes to depression, which I would hope that you would want to fix this, is just set yourself up well. And I say this because if you don't set yourself up well and you do set yourself up for failure, then you're not going to like the outcome. And by saying that, when I say set yourself up, put yourself in a regular routine, get a hobby, like, and I'm not saying like these things are easy. These things take a long time. Life is at your own time, not everybody else's time. But get a hobby, find a routine, wake up, go to the gym, set goals for yourself. Like one of the biggest parts of depression or biggest ball players when it comes to depression is failure. Like a lot of people feel like they're a failure, especially coming out of college, especially going into college. Like two things going hand in hand, cause and effect. I'm telling you, exercising definitely relieves some pressure. It definitely relieves a lot, for me at least. Eating right. If you eat right, then your body won't feel so sluggish that causes you to have all these thoughts. One thing about eating right that people don't understand is that our mind and our gut are the same. Like they're one. Like our gut is our second brain. So if your gut isn't right, then it's gonna send signals to your brain. Talk, I don't know, bro. Like today just isn't a day, and once you tell yourself today isn't the day, like you've already put yourself in that thought of mind. So eating right is very important. And the last one, which I find more important than anything, is meditation. Now, I talk about meditation a lot. I love meditation because you really get the answer that you want. And meditation is not that you sit down and you go, no. You're not sitting down crossed with your legs, yogi style. You don't have to do it that way. That's just a way. Literally taking a walk in a park or outside in your neighborhood or doing something that causes you to drift and then come back and then drift and then come back. I'm telling you, do something, and even like exercising gets your mind off of things. I rather ask myself, what's the issue? How do I fix it in my thoughts so that when it comes down to it and when I'm down to execution, I get it done. Like depression is real. Don't ever get it twisted. I was depressed for a while. Um, I can I can say that. I can proudly say that because I'm not no more. And you can choose to stay in the system, but then you can also choose to get out of it because being depressed is like being trapped in a room and you can't get out. Like nobody ever takes it seriously, especially dealing with a family of immigrants. So it's like they're kind of oblivious when it comes to depression. And that's the sad part about it because we all face our issues and we all will face our issues. Don't tell me that God is going to fix it. Don't tell me to go pray. Like God will fix it. Don't get me wrong. But that's not what I want to hear right then and there. Like I have faith, but don't tell me, oh, just go pray about it. Yeah, I'm going to pray about it, but like what can we do right now? How can we settle things right now? It's not even in our will to try and settle it. But God blesses those that use their free will. I'm gonna let you know that right now. So if you want to go out there, go get you a damn therapist. Go get you a therapist. God didn't put therapists on the earth just to waste time. And I feel like now that therapists are becoming mainstream, we should utilize that. But hey, that's just to say, think about it. If you were in that position, what would you do, right? But yeah, take care of yourself because mental health is important. Mental health. Um, One thing that I realized is that I can't think when my room is all cluttered up, so I clean my room. Simple things. It will put you in that. Like people don't realize that certain things in your life and certain certain things happen for a reason. As far as like, if you're looking for this new blessing and you don't remove the old blessing out of the way so that the new blessing can set its place and manifest, then what are you doing? And the thing about it is, it. And I'm saying that as a call to like hoarders because people like to hoard things. People like to hoard things when it comes to relationships, just material things. letters, whatever. Like it's just too much. So it's like, you're not really making space for what's new to come in. Like you already have so much. And you're grateful, hopefully. And nobody says you should throw away old things. You can put them in a place where they're near and dear to your heart, but you can't just sit there and just keep it and collect it. For what? Declutter. Helps with mental health.
Yo, once again, thank you for listening. Just want to take a pause for the cause real quick. Hey, I like books, right? And I'm about uplifting and empowering and all that good stuff. But I feel like rewards need to go out to people that actually take the initiative to make change in their lives, right? So I decided that, I was going to give away something, and I was thinking about it. What do I want to give? So I have this gift card for your choice of Barnes and Nobles or Amazon, and hopefully you use it for good. But it's a sweepstake, so all you got to do is go to moreaboutsomethingelse.com, enter in your email, and you just might get randomly selected. Once again, it's a Barnes & Noble gift card or an Amazon gift card. So go check that out. Once again, moreaboutsomethingelse.com, enter your email. It's a sweepstakes. So, not everybody's going to win, but somebody's going to win. You never really just know. You might win. But yeah, enjoy the show. Once again, moreaboutsomethingelse.com. And please review us on iTunes, like us on SoundCloud, and here's the show.
One thing I don't like is when people talk about millennials. And if you don't know what a millennial is, it's from the late 80s until the early 2000s. Or not even the early 2000s, the late 90s. And the one thing that is so significant about millennials is that we got to experience the best of both worlds. Like, the generations before us won't understand, nor do I care for them to understand because it's not for them to understand. The other previous generations, they talk so down on us, talking about we don't deserve certain things in life and that we don't utilize our resources or that we're impatient or that we don't try hard enough. Yeah, I get it. Like some of us, we act like that. I don't want to say some of us because I'm not speaking about myself in that statistic, but think about how easy life was back then compared to how life is right now. We're in constant competition for jobs, from education that you guys said that we need to go to college. Back in the day, college only cost $800, and now it's what? A regular semester at your state school, it's like $10,000. That doesn't make any sense, That's just on average. That's not actually all the schools. But yet you guys said that we need this. And yet here we are talking about millennials. The thing about millennials that is so different from any other generation is that we don't take crap from nobody. We're not going to sit here and say, oh, okay, well, since you guys have the blueprint to our lives, so everything that you say is right. No. The one thing that I hold proud to myself is that I'm not going to conform to society and their beliefs. I'm not going to conform to my parents' beliefs. I'm going to sit here and question everything if it doesn't make sense to me. And that's what I feel like millennials do right now, is that we sat here, we watched you, you told us what to do, and it doesn't work. So we're going to try another way. Everybody likes to be safe, and that's cool. But where we are right now, and taking a risk just to be better, I feel like it's a lot more better than anything else. Like, it's going to pay off. Like, it really is going to pay off later on. Like, we can't keep living in societies like this where we're still adapting to the system of the 90s, right? Or not even the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s. Like, at the schools right now, we don't teach the right things. And I noticed that. And a lot of people are going to notice that when they get out of high school, that they just don't teach the right things. And then there's no reason why I need to go to college to get a degree, but you're making me take prerequisites for it. Like I have to pay for um, a sociology class or a psychology class or my math classes or whatever that has nothing to do with what I actually want to do. And this is not to say that you don't need those classes in life, because in some sense you do need to know your history. You do need to know how to count. And you do need to know a little bit about science just so that you know how the earth works. But to say that we're lazy, to say that we don't do nothing or we don't understand anything or we think that it's all going to come, it's not. Some of us know that, some of us don't know that. And that's cool. But here we are right now, living it up. Millennials, we making things work. Like, it's just sad. Even like the school thing is the thing that bothers me the most, because they got teachers walking out. Teachers are on strike. That means no school. No school means that you got to stay home from work because the teachers don't want to go to work because they're getting unfair treatment. They got textbooks from 1989, some shit like that. Like, it doesn't make any sense for that. And you would think that because we talk so harshly about the generations to come, that we will try to make a society better for the upcoming generations. The things that they feed our kids, crazy. Like, that's the thing that is the biggest issue right now, is that they're feeding the kids all this nonsense. Have you seen some big ass strawberries or big ass bananas or the big ass chicken breasts? Like, that doesn't make any sense why they're so big. And the crazy thing about that is, this is a fun fact, is that the reason why all the food looks pumped up and everything, the reason why we're producing so much food, but it's not the right way how they made food, and they're spraying all these chemicals on our food. Like, those forms and methods were for us to last when, we do go into famine, or we do have an issue where we're having a food crisis, so that they can produce food like that. Like, the way we eat is not the way we're supposed to eat. And I'm going to let you know that right now. It's kind of weird how things are going on, but just put it into perspective that we're here for good. You're here to live your life. I don't know about you, but when you want your kids, how do you want them to grow up? Do you want them to grow up in a society that doesn't give a damn about the kids? Do you want them to grow up knowing that they're equal? Do you want them to know that everything is going to be okay when you die, because you will die? And that's where you just have to leave it off at, because I feel like the most important thing is to give the recognition to where we are, because we've literally experienced it, from not having the internet to having the internet, and how to integrate that into our lives. And I'm not going to just talk about all the good, because we as millennials, we do mess up a lot. And we do have this sense of instant gratification. I don't know, we just do. And I think that's because of the internet. And that's okay, because sooner or later we'll understand. And hopefully speaking for a lot of millennials, we will understand. But I feel like this is the time to prove people wrong, because they give us so much flack for no reason. But yeah. So I feel like I need to put my 2 cents in on this Cosby thing. And the question arises, did Cosby really do it? And I really don't care about this whole thing, because it's like a whole roller coaster with different facts and different lies. Honestly, the timing is really bad about how it came along. And I don't know. You look at the situation and you're just like, oh, well, Cosby was going to buy CBS, and the timing. Honestly, timing is everything. You think these people don't know what they're doing? Yeah, timing happens, right? But Cosby admitted to it in documents of drugging women and whatever. Like, he did do that. There were some settlements, like, that's one of the biggest things I wanted to talk about, because I'm just like, yeah, I understand that people talk about the racial tension and all that. Why is Cosby the only person? If you didn't know, Cosby is facing 10 years for each count. 3 counts. Cosby might as well die in prison. Like, I don't know.
It just doesn't make sense to go to prison at 80 years old and you're legally blind, you know? But I don't know. It's actually really weird, this whole little situation. A lot of people question, well, why the black man get prosecuted for this? Yeah, the black man does get prosecuted for this. This is sad. But I mean, should we talk about this in the context that you actually did something wrong? Or should we talk about this as a racial thing? Like, I was all for Cosby at one point and said, Cosby ain't do that. Cosby a real dude, blase, blase. But I think we tend to get things mixed up when we actually watch a show. Bill Cosby was America's dad, so it's kind of like you're kind of turning on your own peoples. And the one thing that is very different from Bill Cosby case and a Harvey Weinstein or a Bill O'Reilly is that when they had their own little thing, everybody knew about it and people told on them, They had a lot of settlements, even with Harvey Weinstein. They had in their contract that you're going to get this amount of money if you deal with any type of sexual harassment or some type. There was girls that settled with Bill O'Reilly that made money that they just kept quiet after that. With the Bill Cosby thing, I don't know, it's kind of different because it hits home when it's like, bro, we didn't know about this, And for you to say that, oh, well, it's a racial thing, I don't know. It might be, but it doesn't take away from what was wrong. But, I mean, that's all I really have to say about it, Karma's going to come at you one way or the other. Some people may not experience that karma in this lifetime, and that's the sad part about it, but justice is served at the end of the day. Album of the week, I guess you could say. Hey, go check out J. Cole's album. It's really good. A lot of people talk about J. Cole as he's underrated. He is not underrated. J. Cole is actually a really good artist. Like, you should really take the chance and listen to his catalog. Like, it really makes a lot of sense for maybe an adolescence that's maybe in high school, college. Like, it just has that positive feeling to it. But yeah, go check that out. I am reading a new book. It's called The Way of the Superior Man. Go check it out. If you like it, shoot me a message. But the book is really good. It's not that long. And I got it on Amazon. I think I got it on Amazon for like $15, maybe less. But it's a really good book, so you guys should check that out. But yeah, words of wisdom, feed into your curiosity. There's a lot of things that I just don't know. There's a lot of things that I wish I knew. But me feeding my curiosity about certain things, the unknown, makes my life have a little bit more purpose, if that makes sense. But yeah, man, hey, please go check out the website, moreaboutsomethingelse.com. Hey, also check out the book, Dominant Existence, on iBooks and on moreaboutsomethingelse.com. Please, please, please rate this show if you love it. Tell a friend to tell a friend. But my name is Joshua, and I'm out.